Mr. Nishit, can you hear us? We're just testing right now. Mr. Nishit Joshi,
Yes, sir. We'll be starting at 2. We'll be waiting for more to join in.
Good morning, everyone. We will be starting in a moment. That is about to reach. So we are waiting for other participants to join in. So we will be starting in next 5 to 10 minutes.
Good morning, Ajay sir.
Morning, Adi. Good morning.
एग्जीक्यूशन हमने चालू है वो ईमेल करो सारा सजेशन लेकिन रिकॉर्ड भी रहेगा तो यू कैन सी इट
Uh, am I audible, everyone?
Yes, you are there, sir.
Yes, sir, you are.
Meanwhile, requesting all HEIs or incubators to please drop your the name of the institution or the section 8 in the chat box, please.
Hello, Amitabh. Good morning.
Hi Ganesh, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if we are required in this meeting, right? I got this from IIT Bombay director, this link.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So you know what we are means there is definitely we are inviting all the higher education institutes to help in a lot of things, and I guess that IIT Bombay can be a big fulcrum for our complete initiative. So you can help us definitely.
Thanks a lot. So I've got Miss
Just
Rashmi
we
also
will
joined.
just start. We had given a time of 10, and perhaps people are joining in. So maximum we will wait till 10:05 and we will start. We have a short talk after the and a presentation, so we will wrap it up as fast as possible.
Thanks. I have Miss Rashmi also joined from my end.
Sure.
I got one or two people from my end joining. Yeah, thanks.
To address your query, to give question to the HEIs
You breaking up, Ajay sir.
incubators of the institution to join.
So actually your voice is breaking. We couldn't hear you properly.
Yeah, am I able?
No, sir.
Can you please respond like I was audible or not?
You are not, but now you are.
Moving in the direction of the agenda. First of all, let me just tell you what this RFE is all about. So we have floated out for the empanelment of the higher educational institutions and incubators with Digital India Bhashini division to propel the NLP ecosystem, join hands with Bhashini to build the next gen solutions in the language domain. That's one. Then how you can apply and what are the benefits for the HEIs will be taken care in this particular session. This particular session is being recorded, being broadcasted on YouTube also, so that after this session, if you want queries, you are having any queries, you can clarify from that particular session. We are open for the suggestions and the queries will be taken in the last. So moving, having with us, CEO of Sri Amitabh Nag with us. He will be guiding us forward about the importance of this RFE, how you can join hands with the Digital India, what are how things will be moving forward will be taken care by sir. Sir, over to you.
Yeah, I'm seeing some messages that we are not audible. Is that the situation? Can everybody confirm? Nandan, can you put a comment there so that we can confirm from the people that we are audible?
You're audible, sir.
Okay. Now, let me just put a few things here. See, Bhashini is basically, Bhasha interface for languages, Indian languages, and we are catering to about 22 languages in the country, which are part of the constitution, and plus, which we want, our aspiration would be to look at all the languages which are there. However, when we look at how do we proliferate what we have done till now, because we have already done text-to-text translation on 22 languages, we are on speech where we are reaching 14 to 15 languages, and we will be adding more languages. We are also on optical character recognition. So these are some things which we have done. And if you go to our website, www.bhashini.gov.in, we have interacted with a lot of customers to actually get the pre-processing and post-processing utilities, which are kind of unique in this world. You know, the entire all, you know, nobody in the world offers these for Indian languages or even worldwide languages. Features like gender classification, features like profanity filter, features like voice activity detection, etc., which will actually enrich your conversation and systems with the other people. So it's a very bubbling system. We are almost at 7 million hits on an average. We have 7 million inferences a day, which is great from any production system, which is there today. Now, what we are looking for from the help from the higher education institutes, this entire system has to be basically going to the last mile. Last mile would mean that people who are on the other side of digital divide as well as on the other side of literacy divide. For that, there are going to be multiple things which are supposed to be there. Number one, we have 4 set of major challenges which we have, and that is where we are looking. You will understand why we are looking at educational institutes as the pieces. Number one, all the users and people today, after they saw that Bhashini is something which has come up, they all are looking at reimagining of user journey as well as user interface to the digital system, which will aid to the people who are on the other side of digital divide as well as literacy divide, because Bhashini is also enabling voice first communication as well as translation. So the sudden change in the user journey and user interface and the use cases have actually brought us about to a situation where there are systems and processes and things which needs to get developed, and so that these end users can be helped, right? So that is one. Now, once we are looking at that, and this is one of the major requirements which are coming up. The second thing which we are seeing is that although we have 22 languages, there are dialects which are there in the country across the length and breadth of the country, and that is more prevalent on tier 2 and tier 3 cities where our major population lives. We have to make the models tuned to those dialects, those way of talking and way of writing languages, etc., that has to be taken into consideration. So that is the second aspect. That means there is a significant effort which is required on data collection and model training on top of what has been done. You have use cases and user journeys, which means applications and systems need to be developed. You have significant model training, and model training cannot happen without the technical data collection. So that is the second piece of the thing which is there, which we are looking at, bridging. The third piece of thing is that our languages, although they were very rich on multiple things which they do, many of the digital tools do not exist, like grammar, like other tools with respect to authoring tools, content management tools, etc., etc. So we are looking at that particular situation where people are in a position to build these tools, these effective activities, which can be taken, which can be used in the last mile for these languages, and as I said, the plus languages which are there. So that is another third piece which we are looking at. So first piece we are looking at, use cases and user journeys. Second piece we are looking at training of AI models, data collection for training the AI models. The third piece which we are looking at language specific tools, etc., which has to be created. And the fourth and most important piece which we are looking at is that how do we increase the adoption, especially on tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and of course on the villages? And what are the technical advancements which are required? Like, we came with a requirement when we are working on tier 2 cities, there was a requirement of actually miniaturizing the models, offline AI models, models at the edge. All of these are, typical unique requirements at the last mile. Feature phone interfaces, normal communication interfaces. All of that is basically looking at very different kind of a setup or discussions or thinking, which actually means that we need to work with users at the last mile, take our technical expertise, and then solve their problems. The other thing, we haven't distinguished between the technical institutes as well as the management institutes as well as the domain institutes. What we anticipate going forward in the future is that whenever we are trying to solve a customer set of problem, which is the end user problem, we would require a domain system like a law university or like an agriculture university or like a medical institute, a technical institute, and a institute which has got last mile connect, and perhaps a management institute which will actually give a process definition as well as see how it fits into the larger scheme of things. So we do see a lot of consortiums coming up to say that we will be solving this problem with those consortiums. So that is the requirement part of it. So we are basic. So again, I am repeating, we are looking at use cases and user journeys. We are looking at AI model training through data collection. We are looking at language specific tool building. We are looking at increasing the adoption so that the cycle goes in. If you increase the adoption, there will be use cases generated, use cases to be supported. We build a system for the use cases. There would be challenges in AI models because those may not be adopted for that use case or that domain or that dialect. And then you train the AI model, collect the data, and this cycle continues with respect to this. So this is what about the requirement part is concerned. But when you look at how are you basically looking at requirement part, we are looking at how do we actually do grand challenges in your part of the system in cities and countries? How do we do hackathons there? How do we involve the local governance structure so that the proliferation increases? How do we look at government and governance service deliveries so that the people at the last mile is getting benefited? And we specifically are looking at your reach onto tier 2 and tier 3 cities. If you actually look at the HEI document, that specifically points out towards the evaluation criteria which goes in that direction. So with that, I will pause because there are, when I told you that what is the requirement? I told you the mediums which we are going to be working, which is workshops, hackathons, grand challenges, and seminars and other outreach activities. So this is what we are looking at from HEIs who actually need to take the people together there. Of course, needless to say that we all will be supporting all of these activities which are going to be there. It is not that you alone need to be doing. I would encourage you to form consortiums with domain institutes, with management institutes. The technical institutes should form consortiums. If they can do it alone, we don't have a problem. If there is a tier 2 organization in tier 2 cities, I would encourage them to reach out to HEIs in tier 1 cities and form consortiums. But if the tier 2 city organization or HEI is happy to do it itself, I don't have any challenges. But the objectives I have clearly stated. And here I would like to pause and take a few questions before we can move on to the next place with respect to the call for proposal itself. So overall requirement plus quote unquote the modus operandi. Do you have some basic questions? Then I can basically try to answer some of them. if there are no questions, means or we can also wait for the questions at the end. If one hand has risen, please.
Hi, good morning. This
Yeah,
is
you can.
Nitin Upadhyay from Indian Institute of Management, Jammu.
Yeah.
So the requirement set that you have mentioned, it's quite broad. And the
Little louder.
Am I audible?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I was just mentioning I am Nitin Upadhyay in Jammu, and I have one specific questions regarding because there are certain requirements which are quite broad in nature, and it also have a different life cycle in terms of process execution and operationalization. So is there any priority in terms of what we look at? For example, you mentioned about adoption tier 1 and tier 2 and for use cases.
You're dropping actually. Can you repeat your question? I'm not sure whether it is a problem at our end or your end. I'm not sure about it.
Am I audible now?
Actually, Dr. Nitin, your
You're
voice is
audible.
breaking. We are also facing the
Yeah,
same
you're
issue.
audible now. Yeah, you're audible.
Just one question, because you mentioned about 4 different objectives. Is there any priority among these objectives, or all are equally important?
See, it's a cycle. If you actually look at it, I can't prioritize each one of them. Okay. I have a use case. I deploy a solution. I would reach a certain level of accuracy or challenges in deployment. I will go back to train the AI model, and I will go back to create the tools, and then again try to work on it. So it's a cycle. You can start from anywhere. You can start from training AI models, but if I just go and let's go back and rethink on the cycle. Supposing I say that you only train the AI model, collect the data for a particular setup or particular boli, as we call it in Hindi, or dialect. Now, if I do it, then there is no. If I do it only, then there is no outcome which is seen. So, perhaps I would like to see an outcome by going through an adoption, asking a few people to adopt and say, give the feedback, right? So there is no specific thing, but I would look at it that use case and adoption. These are the two fulcrums which will actually spiral the things forward. And the other two, which is the AI model training and the tools which are to be developed, are at the pyramids or are at the levels which are actually, these two bubbles will actually move these two bubbles, which are the technical jobs, right? Because that is how it is going to be there. The user journeys and use cases, there has to be a very detailed study on that itself. Let me take one example. For example, voice-based form filling, right? A voice-based form filling for me, is going to be very different than a person who does not know how to read and write. For me, it is like, if it is written, what is my name? I'll press the, speak button and say Amitabh Nath, right? And then unpress it. Now, this is not the way a person who is on the other side of literacy divide, other side of digital divide will operate. So a user study becomes very important, and hence the organization like you, which is IIM, becomes very, very important to look at how the process and user journey would operate. Right?
Sure.
You may want to actually come up to say that how do we look at adoption? What are the processes that we should be looking at adoption? This is a latent need in the country. It is not a need which is basically available or we know it. The moment you say that yes, it is technically possible, people start jumping with a very different kind of a mindset to say that yes, I will also do it. Right? So this is the crux of it. So I hope I have answered your question. In a thing, the bottom line is no. I would not like to assign any priorities, but I would like to, go to the market. I would emphasize all of you to go to the market and then come back. So you can, like before yesterday, I was addressing a seminar, and the construction industry came up and said that I want my people who are my workforce, which is mobile, from one state to other, speaking different languages. Is there a use case there? Now that is a use case inward journey, right? The industry comes, they have a challenge with respect to communicating with their workforce, so they have come and said that there's a use case based. The second part could be that I went and said, to Open University, that please use it for your training. And they said, no, my study center has a major problem, right? When I use it in study center, I need authentication, I need speaker diarization, I need multiple such activities. So there is a different kind of requirement which comes in. So that is the adoption-based, adoption-based movement in the science, right? The third use case could be, which I can basically look at, is that I land up in an organized place where they are on a very different dialect, which is not available or not readable in my setup at all. So then perhaps I will start from AI model training or customization to the outward. So that's the, multiple ways in which I can perhaps get into the system and work upon it. The requirement remains the four which I talked about, but it can pop up at any point in time and you can approach it from any one angle. You don't have a problem. So perhaps if you are at Mizoram, you would say that, I would like to have the local language AI model first before I start. Right? So that would be a very different. There are two more hands. We will take two more questions before we go. Otherwise, we will address in the last. Yeah, please.
Hi, so this is Devanshu. We are from policy. I have just one small question. Is there any minimum requirement to apply for the only incubators can apply, or public policy company like us can also apply? We are a policy partner for Uttar Pradesh government into the startup ecosystem, and we work entire tier 1 to tier 3 with all colleges there to their outreach and collaborations with all colleges, all types of colleges, engineering, management, law, as you mentioned, right, and all complete Uttar Pradesh. We are the sole policy engagement partner for this. We are also trying to get into other things. So that's why we were asking. We are India's first registered public policy startup to be actually said.
See, we have a different, mechanism to work upon with startups, but I would rather encourage you to actually enter into a collaboration with the HEI and make that as a fulcrum to work on all of it. That would perhaps work in better. We have a different way of working with startups. It would be a similar exercise which we will carry out with startups also. But this is focused towards HEI, and I would encourage that if you are in UP government, you can tie up with any of the colleges who can be your phase two, or who would be requiring help from organizations like you, definitely.
Noted, sir. Noted. Very noted. Can be doable in collaboration with a tri-party, right? We bring a good incubator from UP for it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Right. So,
very good morning, sir.
If there are no more. Yeah, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, actually, I'm having a very small query. Like for submission of proposal, may I know like what will be the quantum of funds or support which will be provided?
Yeah. Obviously, I would not like to state the quantum of funds to be provided right here. But just to give an expanse of the program, we are looking at about 50 hackathons to be organized and similar number of PhDs to be organized. That should give you some idea of what we are looking at. It's a pretty large program for you to be interested in participating.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot for answering. Have a nice day.
Thank you. If Ajay, I would basically now request you to go through the presentation and give some details about it, and we would take the discussions or the questions.
Please confirm the slides are visible to you.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's visible.
So moving forward, the slide actually mentions the objective of the policy that Sir just mentioned, that we are formulating a long-term strategy to advance the adoption and growth of Indian language technology solutions to enable and to transcend the language barrier. The second is the enable cutting-edge research economies of scale to advance Indian language technologies ecosystem through development of the solutions, applications, data science models. Then we are having also a point where like, we have to create the indigenous intellectual property with startups and incubators, and then the collaborations with the national and international agencies. Now coming to the point that like why collaboration is required to transcend this language barrier, it's because like we have a creation of Bhashini.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Ajay. So your presentation is not moving. Your voice is not being clear.
Let me share the window. Give me a second. Is it visible now? Amit?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Yes. So this is I was explaining that why this collaboration is required. It's like in this empanelment we want to have a collaborative environment for language solutions. We will be requesting.
Extremely sorry to interrupt, but there is no clear voice we are getting here. As well, the screen is also not shown completely. So it is very difficult to understand, I guess.
No, your voice is not clear, or like am I not audible to you?
Your voice is cracking in between. It's not audible to all. So the slides are not moving. In fact, the voice is not clear.
In fact, he hasn't.
Okay, so I will be moving ahead without slides. So that please confirm that you can hear me now. It's loud and clear now.
So there is some disturbance behind. We're not aware. There is some crack. The voice is cracking in between.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, this is better.
Is this okay now?
Better, sir, better.
Okay. Yeah. So moving ahead, like I was just explaining, like why collaboration with HEI is important to Bhashini. These are some slides. So I think that when I was sharing the slides, there was some interference coming. So I'll not share the slides here. I'll directly come to the point. That this empanelment that is rolled out by Bhashini division in the e-procure portal is for the higher educational institutions and the section companies under HEIs or standalone incubators who can apply. The IFE
Excuse
document
me, sir, sorry
is
for the
available
interruption. The screen is not visible. You're not
No,
sharing
I'm
the
not
slide.
sharing the screen.
You can see your.
I'm not sharing the screen yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Also, if I
so I
could
was
say,
just that
also if I could
sorry.
suggest if you all can just also if I could suggest if you all can just switch off your mobile, then it would be better because of interferences. There's a disturbance in the noise actually.
Yeah, we are having the mobile switched off here. So, okay. So, I
Thanks.
just need 5 minutes uninterrupted. If someone is not able to hear me, please bear with me. We are having a YouTube recorded broadcasted session also. I'll share the link later on. The first point was the RFE is uploaded on the e-procure CPP portal of Government of India, in which we have uploaded a document. You all have to go there and you have to read out the document very carefully that what are the eligibility criteria, what are the technical qualifications that are required, what are the pre-qualification criteria that are required. So we have made the HEI, the RFE document very detailed so that a normal person can understand like what is the objective of this empanelment, how you can apply for it, and how you are going to submit the bid for that. So we will be sharing the presentations over the email and the WhatsApp group that we have created. But just to ensure, you have to go through a process of a e-procure platform where you have to create your account, the organization account. After that, you have to select the tender. The tender ID will also be is mentioned in the PPT slides, and my colleague Nandan will be sharing with you over the email. After searching the tender ID, you have to download a document that is a RFE document in which entire things are mentioned about eligibility, pre-qualification criteria, technical qualification criteria, all the three parameters. Now,
so here I would like to state to every one of you that once you go through I hope you all have gone through it, but once you go through it and you find that you have some challenges or you have some suggestions, do come back to us based on the merit and the requirements. We will consider whatever you are talking about right now. Yeah, go ahead, Ajay, please.
Yeah. So I am also having that document handy. So just for your consideration and the points that were initially asked, there are sections. The section 6 and section 7 of this RFE document mentions about the eligibility criteria and pre-qualification criteria. So these criteria are required to be fulfilled before you apply. So all are requested to go to the eProcure platform, see that particular RFE document, and I'll request Nandan to share it over an email also, that a separate PDF that we have uploaded there. After that, some questions were asked related to the selection methodology. So selection will be done purely on the basis of the bids received, the bids or the entries or the requests that we received through the e-procure portal will be downloaded from the portal. After that, a pre-qualification set criteria that is mentioned in the document will be considered as a primary phase of selection of the HEIs or incubators, in which we will be shortlisting the entries depending on the pre-qualification criteria mentioned in the document. So I'm repeating the words again so that you can align your submission as per the criteria that is mentioned in the RFP document. That is number one. Once that particular shortlisting will be done, the final shortlisted HEIs and incubators will be called for a technical presentation for the final selection of the HEI. After that, once this particular technical presentation happens for the shortlisted entries, there will be a field visit in which the officials nominated by DIBD, Digital India Bhashini Division, will be visiting that particular HEI or incubator to validate whatever the things that you have mentioned in the submission, bid submission of yours is related to our requirements or not, or whatever the details that you have furnished is correct or not. After that, we will the committee will sit and will finalize like which entry is selected, which entry is rejected. So this is the selection methodology. So combining all 3 points, the RFE document is a kind of a document where you have to go through each point of that particular document, see the pre-qualification criteria, technical qualification criteria, modes of empanelment, what is the method of the empanelment, what are the steps to apply to the e-procure portal, everything is mentioned in the RFE document. That's what. But after this particular session, we will be sharing you number 1, the steps to apply in the e-procure platform, that is the guidelines that is included in the PPT, what are the methods of engagement, and third are the pre-qualification criteria and other things mentioned in the document. These 3 things along with the document we will be sharing with you over the email. Now, we would like to take few questions in the end, please.
Yeah, any questions which we have, and those of you, if anyone has not been able to join because of any technical issues, we would like to reach out to them. You can send specific request on our email ID, which is mentioned in the RFP, and we would reach out. And if required, perhaps address the queries there. All the queries which are basically received will be published again so that everybody is on the same page with respect to what is to be done.
Also, we are preparing like the queries that we have received in the chat box on the YouTube we are receiving. We will be preparing FAQs and we will be rolling out on the emails. And you all are requested to follow our LinkedIn handle so that whatever the information, latest updates, some amendments or change in the dates that we are having and we are going to have in future, we will be posting there.
So, any questions, please? And also, Nandan, you can have a look at the comment box if there is any questions.
Participants, we have floated one.
Yeah.
Participants, we have floated a Google form. If you have any queries, please fill out the Google form.
So, any financial assistance with respect to grants as well as there would be, we would be forming out, the financials will be discussed with the institute and panel institute with a clear formation of what can be done and what cannot be done there, and that's quite flexible.
The point of contact is Mr. Nandan, and he's already in touch with you through an email. But you can keep dropping your emails here.
Nandan will also put the email ID on the chat box right away, so that the email is visible to you. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. As per the let me know the main objective of the proposal. Actually, as per the mail, so we can find key 5 objectives. So to meet from this proposal. So whether we have to follow all these 5 or we can choose any one and we can focus on that, sir. Can you brief on that? So
that's your choice. We are not. Our objectives are basically, we have multiple objectives. What you can do may be a limited. You can help us in limited way. So you should write that into the proposal that you are going to focus only on, for example, this
collaboration.
Yeah, means you look at it, but if the way the things are designed and the way I look at it is that you would be in a position to do all of this if you are able to do one.
Yes.
The site name would be put across by Nandan. Nandan, please put the link there where the RFP is available. Any other point?
Thank you.
if you go through the RFP, I feel that you would be in a position to, identify the activities as well as, as well as will be in a position to say that, identify the consortiums which can work together to help and handle this. Yeah. So if there is no question, I would like to close the session here. If after some time you find some other things which are there, please be in touch. We can again, come back and aggregate in a similar way as we have done now to help you to help us. So thank you very much, all of you, for joining us at this point in time. We would be looking forward to your proposal.
So thank you all the HEIs and incubators joined. So make sure that if you're having any query, you can send that query over an email dropped by Mr. Nandan in the chat box. We will love to answer all the queries, whatever the doubts that you are having in process of the application. We'll be here. We are here to assist you till the time your final proposal goes to the e-procure portion. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.